Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Never done a press conference at 6:30 before, and thank you so much for turning out. I'm glad you could all make it for a very special event leading into a huge sporting night for Hull on August the 1st. Firstly, I'd like to just welcome everybody to the table, of course, here today. There's some very special guests that are here. Councillor Danny and Steve Bender, thank you very much for attending. We've been told that he's Hull Kingston Road, and he's firmly on Tommy Coyle's side, so opting to sit down there. And of course, remaining neutral, I believe, it's a huge honour to have the Lord Councillor Mayor Nita Harrison with us tonight. Thank you very much for attending. A former great fighter, been involved in some wonderful fights himself. Now working with the media around the world, of course, Sky Sports Boxing as well. Someone who's going to play a huge part in this contest. I'd like you to put your hands together for a great former fighter and a great trainer now, Jamie Moore. Another man that's been instrumental in the career of Luke Campbell so far, and also instrumental in the progression of boxing in Hull from an amateur point of view and obviously a professional with Luke Campbell, and that's Luke Campbell's trainer, Hull's very own Coyle. And of course the guys that are going to make it happen for you. The guys that are going to put everything on the line for you on August the 1st in the Rumble of Humber at Craven Park. And two guys that I'm very privileged and very proud of. And it's been an honour to represent these guys for a number of years now. Firstly, to my left, a gentleman that I remember, it will be almost 2 years to the day when we had that great event at Craven Park initially. A guy who we didn't know too much about there. We knew he had a huge heart, we knew he had potential, and on that night he outboxed Derry Matthews for, I think, 9 complete rounds in that fight, and then got knocked out. And we didn't know what would happen after there, but what we've seen is a meteoric rise from someone that's refused to quit, someone that's refused to say, I'm not happy with that. And that took a lot of heart to come back from that defeat. And we've seen, over the last couple of years, some epic nights at the Hull Ice Arena. Who will ever forget the Tommy Coyle, Daniel Brizuela fight, the 5 or 6 knockdowns, the fantastic victory over Michael Katsidis, and then again getting off the floor against Martin Gethin to stop him last time out. So I'd like you to put your hands together for the IBF International Lightweight Champion, IBF Lightweight, Tommy Coyle. A guy that hasn't had the ups and downs in his professional career that Tommy Coyle has had, perhaps a faultless introduction into the professional ranks, the most successful amateur boxer in the history of Great British amateur boxing. A man as a professional that, as I said, has been faultless, hasn't boxed perhaps at the consistent level that Tommy Coyle has, but only 11 fights. Already putting a great performance against Daniel Brizuela, we saw that. Of course, the Olympic gold medalist, MBE, 11-0 undefeated, Hull's very own Luke Campbell. Before I talk a little bit more about the fight and also the show itself, I'm going to ask our 2 special guests to just say a few words about this great city of Hull, and also looking forward to a big sporting event for the city. Steve.
Yeah, thank you. Well, there's one thing for sure, that boxing is the city. It's a great sport, it's great for young people, and boxing's never been so popular as it is today, and that's thanks to our 2 contestants. And all the other boxers who put the time in for the young people, so it's great for the city. And boxing is very much, I think, politics, although boxers are popular, and we're as popular as income tax, but in terms of the discipline, the dedication, the planning, and the outcomes is exactly what boxers do, and we have to do a lot of that. I would say this, that the fights are East Hull, and it seems to me that when the West Hull LFC cross that river into East Hull, I don't know what happens to them, the legs turn to jelly. And I think that the same might happen, and Luke's got to remember that, because how many times have the LFC come with their best team, and Rose haven't been so good at that time, and they go away and they think, how did that? And I think it's the water. I think they sent me something, and I just say beware. The East Hull people, although they love Luke and what he's done, they'll be rooting for East Hull and Tommy. So it's going to be a good fight. We've got two great ambassadors for the city, and what a fantastic night it will be. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't be neutral from Essen Road, so... we never give up. We know the what, so we know what the winner is. The winner is Hull, actually. These two lads, our Hull sons, are making history. They'll be, 50, 60 years' time, we'll be thinking and looking back at this. I won't be here, but the young ones will be. You'll be here and you'll be thinking, God, what a fight, that was fantastic. And it'll be something to remember. And Hull has got to remember their sons. And these two lads here will make a good fight. What I want to say a bit is about Mick Brumby. I met Mick a couple of years ago. I've always liked boxing, but it's never had enough promotion with the little kids. And I wanted to get them involved because I know my son who's here tonight, he likes boxing and he used to do it, and I thought the discipline through boxing is what kids need. And I know there's a lot of girls who are doing boxing now, and I think that's really good. But the discipline, kids like boundaries, and when they have the training, when I see Mick and the students doing it, that is fantastic. And they get to a point where they know what's right and what's wrong, and what to do. And it really does make good adults. And these two lads here are good role models, and Hull is very proud of them. And all I can say is, thank you for coming to support them. Be behind them all the time, be behind your kids, and we're going to try and get some more money so we can get the kids doing more boxing lessons. So I say, well done lads, and make us proud. You already have made us proud.
Fantastic ambassadors. There's plenty on the line in this fight, but they will remain great ambassadors through the build-up, during the fight and after the fight as well. Talking about the development of boxing, and Mick, I'd like you to say a few words about, obviously, boxing in Hull, and also Luke Campbell and the fight itself.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, one man's made it happen. I don't know if you don't know what I'm saying, Eddie the Hitman has done it. And it's fantastic on these last couple of years, the way it's building, these kids are coming through. We've already had great talent in Hull, and we've never had the opportunity to show it. But because of Eddie, he's coming through, we're going to have world champions, which is a great role models for the kids, and kids that will carry on being born in Hull, and they'll try to copy. And, Luke, obviously Olympic gold medalist, never had it easy. But say from a young kid, he got beat, he come back, got beat, he come back. Dedication delivers, and that's why he's done what he's done to the pinnacle. He's made all proud, he's made England, Britain proud. Same with Tommy. Tommy was 6 when he walked in the doors. Cheeky Charlie, Tom. be changed. Well, you know, we travel well together, the box together, travel well together, and this night, you know, there'll be obviously on the night there's going to be a winner, there's going to be somebody at the win, but everyone's going to win. It's going to be a win for Britain, it's going to be a win for Hull, and it's going to be the future, I feel like. You know what I mean? I really do. A great future with the boxing, and it's going to be one hell of a night. You're saying the rumble in the umber. Can't wait.
Obviously, you've been on a great journey with Tommy already, so many ups and downs, and that's just during one fight. Yeah. But this is a fight that I know you two have been calling for a long time now. One you both know, it's obviously a tough fight, but one you fancy as well.
Yeah, listen, you're in with Luke Campbell, gold medalist, you know, he's an outstanding fighter, but I'm glad the fight's happening now, rather than in 2 years' time, because Luke will only get better, and we've seen it happen time and time again. You get the golden boy, amateur turning pro, gets put in a little bit too early, and the apple cart stopped slightly early on. Not stopped from going to where we'll get to in the end, but just sidetracked a little bit. And you know, it's happened time and time again, and you know, I'm sure it's going to happen 1st of August. As the guys were saying, listen, what happens is a town like Coyle, or a city like Coyle, is a fight like this kick-starts a sort of a revolution. It happened in Manchester, it's happened in Liverpool, and what happens is these two guys are going to have hundreds and hundreds of kids looking up to them. They're all going to be Tommy Coyle, they're all going to want to be Luke Campbell one day. And in years and years to come now, this will kick-start boxing for years in Hull, so it can only be a good thing.
How do you see the fight playing out? And obviously you're self-confident for a Tommy Coyle victory. What's the reasons behind that?
The reason I believe Tommy can win this fight is that I've seen Tommy do things and come through things what Luke Campbell's not yet. And that's not to say that he can and won't. But what happens is, when you're able to do things like, you have to be posed a problem before you then deal with the problem and come up with a solution. If he's not been posing it, how is he going to come up with a solution? Maybe he will on the night, we'll see. But I believe Tommy Coyle can pose him enough problems on the night to beat him. Now, he isn't going to be easy, it's Luke Campbell, but that means that the fans are in for a great fight, because if something's not easy, then it's a struggle. And if it's a struggle, then every time it's a struggle in a boxing ring, it's always entertaining for the fans.
And before I introduce the fighters, just someone who is a little bit more shy, that likes to sit down there. MP Coyle Turner, who has played a huge part in helping us come back consistently to Hull. When we first had our event at Craven Park, Coyle was really, you know, the member, the councillor here that was really pushing it forward, and he was driving me to make sure that we came to Hull, and he helped out with Craven Park, and he helped out with the whole development, with the council, with the city hall and everything. So I know that he didn't want to come up here and say too much, like to sit down there, but someone who's been very important behind the scenes in the success of boxing in Hull and in bringing this event to Hull is Coyle Turner. So thank you very much. And so the two most important people at the table, and firstly to speak, again we'll give him a round of applause. A man that, of course, has been through, like I said, an emotional roller coaster, a physical roller coaster, mental roller coaster. Every time he fights, you get value for money. Every time he fights, you get passion, you get excitement, you get blood and guts. And we call this one East versus West, and whatever you want to. So, once again, round of applause for the East side, and that's Tommy Coyle.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd just like to say again, Team Coyle, Team Campbell, great turnout tonight. Thank you very much, it's appreciated. I'd like to let my associate, Luke Campbell, start off tonight. He's had plenty to say in recent interviews in the build-up, so
I will also open it to the floor to ask questions. So have a think about what you want to ask. But now we move over to the west, and to say perhaps a few more words in the interim, Luke Campbell.
Thank you for all coming this evening. Great turnout, great support. It just shows what an amazing event this is going to be, and I'm excited for it. It's an event I think that will be in Hull's history. You're not going to see this again. You're not going to see two top fighters from the same city fighting for and eliminated for the world title. I think it's a one-off, and I don't believe we're going to see this again. So that alone, for me, is just makes this all more exciting. I'm proud to be a part of such an amazing event, and for all you people to be behind it and really buzzing for it. I'm buzzing for it, and this fight's been brewing now for like just over a year, and you know, as each fight's gone along, it's got closer and closer, but finally we're here, you know, 1st of August. I suppose I'll have to, Tommy Coyle, thank you very much for the part you played. Without you, this show wouldn't be possible. You know, you're my opponent, and you know, it takes two to tango. So, you know, that's what we're going to do, 1st of August. Back over to Tommy.
That's how it should be. This fight didn't need to be bad blood, so I'm a bit pissed off. I'm going to say how it is. I don't understand the recent interviews in the Boxing Monthly. I don't understand them, and I was disappointed with him, I'll tell you straight. I'm very disappointed with it.
No, you kept texting Mrs., didn't you?
No,
do you want me to tell you why?
Tell him straight.
So basically,
If you just asked me there and then, I would have told you. It says in the Boxing Monthly that I called you a dick. I didn't call you a dick. What I said was you made yourself look like a dick in your post-fight interview after your fight. That's what I said.
that's because I didn't know where the fuck I was.
What?
That's because I didn't know where the fuck I was. I just made it out.
Well, it's the truth though.
Yeah, it's the truth.
And
I
that's
got
it.
put down in the second with a belt and I didn't know what day of the week it was.
Regardless of whether you didn't know where it was, it's the truth. You made yourself look like a dick in that interview, and that's what I said in the interview. Obviously, they've twisted words up, trying to build a fight. Listen, the interest from your last performance went. From your last performance, the interest of this fight went. So they've obviously picked it up in the media, and
You've put it up in the media.
well, for you now, I'm saying.
Yeah, we are, but it didn't need to be like that. This fight could have been sold on £2, and you say I'm just an associate, but yeah, I travelled 5 hours in a coach coaching here, final. Should have roomed with you in Aussie. You forget when we went on the cut to pissing when we're skin selling bubble sauce on East Park for £1 a go, right? We didn't have nothing. To young kids, £1 a go. There was a Lord Parade, Courtney Carlton, £1 a go when we had jack shit, but we're just associates. That upset me, I'll be honest with you, I was pissed off with it, and I thought he was a prick for it.
Maybe we can find something different. I can count my friends and my answers.
Right, let me just say something to you, right? Love your family to be chill, love you to be. Okay, I'm sorry, right? My missus said to me, I think I've just seen Luke Campbell talk. Don't trust me, just say yes, true or false. False. Let me finish. If you've got a bit of bollocks about it, say true or false, right? Okay? Listen. My missus said, I think I've just seen Luke Campbell on the bench in Swanland. Did I ring you up straight away and say, look, you're not sat on the bench when you're alright? I said, despite what's going on between me and you in this fight, I'm your pal. If you're fed up, give me a ring. Did I not?
You text
I think that's a bit more than being an associate.
You text me.
No, I didn't phone yet.
You text me because I was in hospital when my dad was poorly. I was by his side in hospital and I got a text message. You didn't phone me. I couldn't answer my phone next to a life support machine. So I got a text. So
I phoned you up.
True, you did text me. False, you text. You didn't ring me.
driving by islands.
You text me.
I was driving by islands all the time.
I know exactly where I'm going.
This is like Jeremy Carlos, right? So anyways, yeah, next.
Is there no truth or false?
No, there ain't. Right, all I'm saying is, I just think this needed to be built up like this. I just thought it could have been built up. Two pals getting in the ring, they're going to knock hammer and tongue out each other, the best man wins. As simple as that.
The amount of stuff you say about me. You're going to knock him out. You said about me, never blinked an eye. Because the sport we're in, man.
Yeah, but it is a sport we're in, and I do believe they'll knock you out. Right? But this is the game for him. What do you think I'm going to do? I ain't going to outbox a gold medalist. He's one of the best in the division. Okay? I ain't going to outbox him. But I tell you what, I know for a fact I'll knock him out.
And you do what you want it. You want it in your mouth and you do what you want it. Rolex has changed it. Rolex wallet with no money in it.
Listen, ain't all about gold medal. Okay.
No,
I don't give a shit, but that's ridiculous. I just thought the fight could have been. It didn't have to sell that. It could have just been sold. Two lads getting in the ring. All right, not the best pals. We don't go out for a drink with each other. I agree with you. Okay, but I think we're a bit more than the socials. You know what I mean? We sparred hundreds of rounds together with kids. Admittedly, we won most of them. All right, but it could have just been sold a bit different. You've probably been in his ear.
Listen, I think that there's always, speaking to both of you over the last 2 years, there's always been that little bit of envy. And I see it. So, well then there you go, but it's going to be what it's going to be. There's a lot on the line. This is an eliminator for the WBC World Lightweight title. This is a fight.
Well, listen, I'll put it like this then. Stand up, shake my hand, let's be pals, and the best man will win, and let's just be sports, yeah?
Of course.
Getting in faces, I've grown up a bit since I fought Derry Matthews. I genuinely like the kid, I like his family. I just want to be his pal, best man wins, that's how I tear up. Simple as.
That's the sport of boxing here.
Okay, so let's talk about the fight. You know how good Luke is technically, you know that it's going to be difficult to outbox him, like you said. What's the key to this fight, and what gives you the belief that you can beat Luke Campbell on August 3rd?
Don't give the game away.
I've been places he hasn't. You know, he's going to get to round 4 and round 3, and he's going to think, you know, that's the end of it. I'm going to be whispering in his ear, I'll see you in round 10, mate. You know, and I'm still, you know, knocking on his door, breaking his heart. Like I said, I ain't going to outbox Luke Campbell. He's a spectacular boxer. He's a great boxer. But I believe I'm a great fighter. I know my abilities, okay? I know I'm not, you know, a textbook fighter, a great fighter. But let me just ask the fans a question, okay? All the shows that we've had, would they have been as exciting if I hadn't been on them? I know I've been knocked down a lot of times, but is that entertainment? There we go then.
Don't count for now on the 1st of August, does it?
No, it don't, but you'll enjoy it. I bet you buy a ticket. You might have to buy a ticket.
Luke, obviously, technically, we know you're superb and you've got a great boxing brain as well. Very confident about this fight. What gives you that confidence, and how do you see the fight playing out?
Yeah, I'm always confident in every fight. You know, there's no point in Tom, Dick, and Harry believing in you if you don't believe in yourself. So I take confidence with me in every fight. And the thing is about me is, no matter who I get in the ring with, I underestimate nobody. What's going through my mind is, when Tommy Coyle fights me, Tommy Coyle will bring his best. I will be fighting the best of Tommy Coyle. And, you know, I'm going to be on my A game. You know, it's, like you said, there's a lot on the line. And for what an event this is going to be, it's going to be mega. You know, the build up to it, the actual outdoor event again, selling 20,000 tickets. It's going to be a packed out stadium, and I've dealt with them pressures through going through the Olympics. Everyone cheering and the amount of people being there. So, you know, for me, it's another day in the office, but a day that I will not take Tommy Coyle lightly. You know, I'll prepare for Tommy Coyle's best.
A question coming in all the time from Twitter now live. This one's from Stuart Smith, 44, for both of you.
Actually, he hates me.
Oh, does he? Well, I don't know. He actually asked you a question, but I'm going to ask it to both. Luke first. What weaknesses do you see in Tommy Coyle that you believe you can exploit in this fight?
I don't believe Tommy Coyle has got a weak chin. You know, he gets up off the floor over and over again. You know, that for me is not a weak chin. I think his defence is sloppy, and that's where I'll capitalise on him.
Tommy?
He's brilliant. Listen, if I were in the same way with you, I'd be a fan of his.
I agree with him.
I'm going to go in there. Listen, I never told you before, I never expected to be where I am today. I'm going to go in there, I've got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Let's do what Tommy does, have a terror, but I think it'll be enough, especially at this stage in his career.
This fight obviously eliminated the WBC world title. So a lot of the questions coming in, we saw a fantastic fight recently between Kevin Mitchell and Jorge Linares. Do you feel like, again, well, you might have to. So, you know, the fact that a potential fight with Jorge Linares, you know, is being used, extra motivation, and a fight that you feel, we know Linares is a class act as well.
Definitely. I just want to be in good company, I just want to be involved in good fights, and have a good scrap up to show me you baby boy who's just been born today, just looks happy. So, yeah, just have a good scrap up.
Luke, you saw that fight as well, which you were ringside, a great fight. Are they the kind of fights, obviously the winner of this would be in line to challenging for world titles, Linares, those kind of fights that you believe are within touching distance?
That's why I'm in the sport of boxing, you know. That's what I dream of, that's what I want. I want to be in major fights, exciting fights, and fights that get people on the feet cheering, and you know, this is why I'm in boxing, to put a great show on. And you know, I was ringside for that fight, and you know, he's a good opponent, but very good at what he does, 3-time world champion. So I'll have my work cut out, but I believe in myself. The team around me believe in me. That's enough for me. I'll go in there with the confidence to beat anybody.
Before we wrap up, guys, don't be shy. Is there any questions from the floor? Oh, yes. Yes. Me? Yeah, probably there's a small event at Wembley, Carl Froch against George Groves. Actually, only one of 2 out of 4 events that I've personally promoted, and the other one was at Craven Park.
As a professional, obviously, I don't know which one. I think Brazuela was probably my best fight so far as a pro. But I believe that the Tommy Coyle fight will be a lot better than that. I think for both sides of the fans, Tommy always gives his all, and so do I. I think that's what's going to make a great fight.
And I'm around after to talk more about some other stuff like that. Any other questions, guys? Yes?
Yeah, look, when you win the Rumble in Humber, are you going to make the title challenge in Hull for the world title?
That for me is my ultimate dream and goal. I would one day hope and dream that I could fight for a world title in this city and win it, you know, and celebrate the city of Hull.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's really what we've been building here towards. Obviously, we had a situation where Tommy's a world ranked fighter now. The governing bodies are looking at Luke Campbell. They're both world ranked in the top 15, eligible for an eliminator status. So really the move now is, if not the winner of this goes straight into a world title fight, one more fight and then fight for the world title. And I think we've got the capability of doing it. I think this is the kind of city that gets behind its fighters. We saw that at Craven Park the first time. We'll see it again on August the 1st. And you know, for the winner of this to challenge for a world title again, probably next spring, summer, is, I believe, more than possible to bring the champion in. Any other questions, guys? One minute, question.
Is there any extra precautions you could be taking against each other that we could expand on?
What was that?
Is there any extra precautions you're going to take against each other that you could expand on?
I just told him he was talking about in case he wasn't any more babies and stuff.
Sorry, what was the question? I couldn't hear you.
What will you be doing differently in this like preparation and build up?
Well then, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to give away the game plan. I'm just, listen, I'm a freak in the gym. I work very, very hard. I have to work hard because, you know, I lack in other departments. I'm tightening my defence up, that's for sure. And you know, I'll just be doing what I do. I think I'm at a stage now, I don't think I'm going to get, I think you agree, you just got to go with what you got. I think this is going to be enough, like I said, at the stage Luke's at. I think Luke going to be a world champion, I do. I said it today's Sunday Mail. I think we're going to be a world champion. But I just think it's
Not maybe on 7, but that's because of the speed that was that was when I probably stopped up.
Yeah.
Never, only been stopped once in his career, and that was by a strong welterweight. Yeah, so for me to go in there and get that stoppage again later in the fight, where it shows I've still got the power and speed in the later rounds, coming up to 7. You know, in the second half of the fight, just shows you that I can still do it. But like I say, I've really been building an engine these last 2 years, and you know, I'm doing the rounds easy in the gym, you know, against fast, strong, good kids who will carry a very high work rate. So I'm going to prepare the best I can be, and you know, I'm training hard to give you guys a great show come 1st of August.
Guys, just to remind you on the show itself, obviously August the 1st, Craven Park, a big thank you to Hull KR and Craven Park, Mike Smith, Neil Hudgell. You know, we had a great event there 2 years ago in the summer, and there was a lot of talk about KC Stadium and Hull KR, but we really wanted to go somewhere that wanted to be a part of this event and really wanted to welcome us and get behind the event and work with us on the event. And that was Hull KR, and that was Craven Park. So thank you to them, and we're excited to be there. Of course, thank you to our broadcast partners, Sky Sports, who, quite frankly, without them and their support of boxing, none of this would have been possible at all. The show itself is going to be littered with talent, not just these two guys. A great fight between Brian Rose and Carson Jones, a rematch of their controversial stoppage with Brian Rose lost in February in Blackpool. Two-weight world champion Ricky Burns. So much whole talent on the show as well. Ryan Fuller, Connor Seymour, Nathan Smith against Danny Little, a rematch of a great fight they had. So many fights and more title fights to be announced as well. So it really leaves me to say thank you very much. Thank you for all turning out. Thank you to the City of Hull. Let's get behind this event. You know, like Luke said, I feel like it's a one-off event, a world title eliminator between two world-class lightweights from Hull. And 2 years ago, when we sat here almost to the day, and when Luke Campbell was making his debut, we had no idea really what would throw itself up in 2 years' time. But now we've got the opportunity for millions of people around the world to tune in and watch a major boxing event from the City of Hull with two great fighters from Hull. And it's really all on the line. It's not a fight where it's a 6-rounder to see who can go on and maybe fight for the British title. This is a world title eliminator that will see the winner go on and represent Hull fighting for a world title. Two great lads. There'll be a little bit of needle in the build-up, I'm sure, but two great ambassadors for this great sport. Tickets go on sale on Saturday. Already the orders from the fighters are up to about 8,000. We want to see 20,000 in Craven Park on August the 1st for this event. Let's make it very, very special. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody on this table, thank you so much. Enjoy the build-up, enjoy the event, and let's get behind this Hull and the lads. Thank you very much.